Well. Hello, my beautiful people. We're going to just dive right into this. I was trying to get it up while it was still live. It's pretty much over with now. But if you guys don't recall, we've been covering a brand new case where two young girls wound up in two suitcases, partially buried in a wide open green space slash park in Cleveland, Ohio. And everything that we're learning is that this Cleveland, Ohio area was fairly crime free. I mean, without the normal run of the mill stuff, but it seemed like everybody kind of kept to themselves. Looked like the properties were well maintained. Everybody that I've talked to seemed to think that's a good area, and definitely not an area where we have homicidal maniacs, yoking up children and burying them. So we've got something that was going on, and when we looked at this case as a whole and from a bird's eye, it was very notable that somebody that would have committed this, or at least buried the suitcases, would have had to have been nearby, or somebody from that very specific community, knowing the behaviors of those front houses there, because this park was wide open to like multiple houses that had the front of their house looking where those children were ultimately buried, with a wide open view. So the only way that I can determine that somebody is, in this area is by knew the people in those houses was somebody that lived nearby, because I don't see anybody trusting that specific place. And to have a portion of the bag sticking out, like, that tells me that this person was hurriedly doing this stuff. They didn't take care that they needed. Would these kids have ever been found? My honest opinion, as crazy as this sounds, I don't think so. Oh, thank you, Patty. Patty gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership, because I'm a love machine. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, which it looks like Karen, you're official. Karen is Connie's sister. It's nice to have you, Karen. Well, it's official. Welcome to the crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard, folks. Welcome aboard. It is nice to see you. We're having some issues here, folks. We have something probative on our suitcase girls. I'm very saddened that we're in the situation that we are currently in when it comes to this case. We learned through breaking news on this show that there were two young black juveniles found partially buried in two separate suitcases. We just watched the body cam footage of that yesterday that Channel 19 provided. I will tell you guys, in Cleveland, you're very fortunate to have Channel 19. Channel 19 appears to be one of the good mainstream medias, right? They go the extra step. They go the extra step to get you that information. We love that about them, okay? We love that about them. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm bringing this all the way back to the beginning. We're going to listen to the arraignment of the mother. These are her children. She's a lot smaller than I thought, but it's always the eyes. The eyes are always dead. Once you commit a homicide, there's something about the eyes that, whatever brightness in your eyes, whatever light you have in your eyes, they dim, they diminish. So if somebody could go into the other chat that we had going up, I pushed that was going to be our show, but I didn't realize the arraignment was today. And I'm like, crap, I'd like to do this arraignment at the time it's being done. It's still going on right now. So we're going to go ahead and take a look in here and go to the beginning of it and just listen to what is being said here. The judge should be coming in shortly. Okay, let's. We should be getting an all rise soon. Oh, at least this is not working. Hold on. Okay.
Now, record is now open in
There we
the
go.
city of Cleveland, pursuant to adjournment. The Honorable Jeffrey Johnson is presiding. There will be no talking. Court is now in session. You may be seated.
Yeah, if somebody can go over, be Betty, if you can take this link.
Ask if the attorneys will put their name on the record, please.
So if somebody can go over to our first live that we had, I just kicked that back to 4:30, and it's for Nancy Guthrie. So we decided to go ahead with this show right now because this is breaking news. This is right now relevant information. The other talking point is just that, a talking point. This is breaking news, so I opted to go ahead and tell this story first. We'll do the other one later this afternoon. I might boot that up to about 2 o'clock this afternoon versus 4:30, but we'll play it by ear in case there's another breaking news. But this is the case of the mother that buried her children in the suitcases, and she was arrested, and this is her arraignment, folks. This is for her to say whether she's guilty, not guilty, and to set bond. Or actually, I think it's just to set bond. It might not even be guilty or not guilty. I think it's literally just to set bond. The arraignment, I believe, is just to set bond. It's not a preliminary hearing where an entry has to be made, but I can't remember. I'm sorry. I forget this stuff, and I'm already off my game because I wasn't expecting this. I don't know why I forgot about this stupid arraignment, but I forgot about it, and I forgot to calendar it, and we almost missed it.
Travelini from the County Prosecutor's Office, 0067957. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Assistant Building Commander Tina Tricarci.
I like the lights finally hitting my head where you can see my gray. I love that.
We ready for it.
I do.
Okay.
I want people to know I'm gray.
Is Aliyah Henderson. She has 2 counts of
There she is.
murder.
There she is. There she is. There's the murderer. Look at her eyes.
Good morning, Ms. Henderson. All right, so we're going to first hear from
She knows what she's
first
done.
hear from the prosecutor from the state,
Dead.
and regarding charges against you, charges that you are presumed innocent, on charges that allow for you to have an attorney without cost. And after we hear from the prosecutor, we'll hear from your attorney. Okay. Madam Prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is an allegation of murder in 2 separate charges. It's alleged in this matter that the defendant did cause the death of her 2 daughters, 8 and 10 years old. The badly decomposed bodies of the 2 little girls were found in shallow graves in Cleveland in suitcases. Your Honor, the defendant is 28 years old. She scores a 1 and a 1 on the PSA.
I will say there was some echoing or backdraft or something like that we might hear.
No record noted on the PSA. Your Honor.
So she has not been arrested before. This is another one of those cases where this person's first charge is a homicide, which like I said, I don't know how many people have been noticing this trend. We've been having this trend for several years now, where we have these 20 and 30-something-year-olds, their very first crime in our judicial system is homicide. This is becoming a problem, but once upon a time we had steps. So people would steal or, steal a car, and then they step up, and it's like, you see this progression of, one day they're going to hurt somebody, and then lo and behold, one day they did. But this is crazy. You've got a mom here that basically had 0 criminal history. But again, I do believe the Department of Children and Family Services were involved in this case. How this all happened, I do not know. But I do think we have some clarification that the Department of Children and Family Services were in fact involved in her life prior to this happening, because we've got one of the children's fathers saying that they've been trying to find their child for 8 years. She took off with the child. She took off with the child.
Based on the nature of the allegations and the charges in this case, I would ask
It's nice
for
to see you.
nothing
I'll say
less
good
than
morning
a
to you
$2
guys in
million
just a second.
bond. I would implore the court to consider setting a $2 million bond.
I talked over that. Let's
Your
go back.
Honor, based on the nature of the allegations and the charges in this case, I would ask for nothing less than a $2 million bond. I would implore the court to consider setting a $2 million bond, cash surety at this point, for the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's
Madam
emotionless.
Public Defender.
She's
Thank
not
you, Judge.
crying, nothing.
Ms.
Motionless.
Henderson is waiving the preliminary hearing on both cases, and I ask for the most reasonable bond you can give her.
Waiving the preliminary hearing, so it looks like they're going to be going straight to the grand jury, maybe? Is that my understanding?
Madam Public Defender.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Henderson is waiving the preliminary hearing on both cases.
So she's waiving her preliminary hearing. She's not. I think they can just go to straight to the and get a true bill set. So she's waiving that. So let's just make sure we understand this. Let's just go to ChatGPT so we have a good understanding of what we're dealing with here. So when a defendant waives their preliminary hearing, what does that do? This is Ohio. It should be the same process, but just in case there's other rules in Ohio, we always want to put the state. Let's see. Okay, in Ohio, when a defendant waives the preliminary hearing, they are giving up their right to a judge to determine whether the prosecution has probable cause or believe that they committed the felony. So he's probably going to enter that in with what they have. A preliminary hearing occurs in a lower court, such as Ohio Court of Common Pleas, pipeline through the municipal and county courts. This purpose is to determine whether there is enough evidence to send the case to the grand jury. So they're saying they're waiving all of that. They're going to leave it to the judge. Oh, hey, Patty. Thanks. This 2 hours south of me. It's just disgusting. I know. Too many parents are, they're hurting their children. I understand 100% completely. You are absolutely 100%. We don't know why they're doing that, but we have had an uptick, in my opinion, of despicable parents. And we have to try to find out, why are these people going to homicide or filicide or whatever the hell you want to call it? What is broken? What is broken? I feel like these are women. Women by far have always been nurturing. Even your mentally ill woman is typically very nurturing. So, hey, Sergeant, it's nice to see you. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. So anyways, it's problematic. I absolutely agree with you, Patty. The prosecutor presents limited evidence. Witness may testify. The defense can cross-examine witnesses, and the judge decides if probable cause exists. When a defendant waives preliminary hearing, no evidence hearing occurs. So the judge automatically binds the case over. So that's what they just did. They stopped a preliminary. I'm not sure if I would have done that. That's what I really don't agree with. Unfortunately, defense attorneys. Some defense attorneys are really good, but I would always still want to. But maybe they don't want the allegations out. Maybe that's the trial strategy, is trying to prevent some of those details from leaking out. That might be a strategy. Who knows? So the defense attorney frequently waives it if for strategic reasons, avoiding giving a prosecutor discovery about the defense strategy. This probably is the number one reason right here, to prevent witnesses from locking in testimony early. That could help prosecutors refine their case. And because prosecutors almost always have enough evidence to pass probable cause anyways, which is true, right? Which is true. Sometimes, and even when it's not true, guess what? You typically have one of those bonehead judges like we had in the Bullhorn Betty channel that presided over my case, that was so corrupted, all they wanted to do was avoid me being able to sue them for civil rights violations. So they corruptly bound me over. Even though when it went in front of the grand jury, it was kicked. It was rejected. Sometimes it's part of negotiations with prosecutors. Is this person going to start working on a plea deal? In a situation like this, where there's probably no other person that could have done this. And they, from what we hear, they went inside that house and found overwhelming, I didn't realize this wasn't up here. They found overwhelming evidence against this woman from everything that we've heard. So I think those are a lot of the reasons why they may have chose to do what they've chose to do, you know? So now let's get on with this. I just wanted you guys to understand why they're waiving prosecution. I wasn't sure. I knew it had to be strategic, but I didn't know what it basically did because I've never experienced it. It's one of those things where, you know, we're dealing with capital cases. I didn't deal with capital cases when I worked for attorneys. I didn't deal with any capital cases, never once. So all this capital case stuff is, you know, I've learned over the last 5 years, when you have a common knowledge of law, some of this stuff kind of clicks, some of this stuff takes a little more research.
And I ask for the most reasonable bond you can give her.
Tell me a little more about her that you know.
Judge, she's been in jail 3 days, and as you've seen the public safety assessment, she's looking for a job and she has a place to live. And all of her life has been in this area. Thank you.
Have you seen her PSA?
I have. I just said, yeah. So
Let's go with it. So, no history of violence. History, 1-1. No
I gotta
history
find
of
my coffee
violence, no convictions, no charges.
I'm gonna have to pause it here. I gotta go find my coffee cup, guys. I know it's probably annoying, but I don't want to miss anything, so I can't just keep it playing. So we're gonna pause it just for a second, so I can go find my blessed coffee cup. I'm sorry, Betty needs some coffee. Betty needs coffee. Coffee cup, where are you? I found it. Sorry, guys. When I realized I missed the arraignment and forgot to docket the arraignment on the calendar, I popped up out of the living room, and I ended up flying in here. And of course, I'm cussing at OBS because OBS takes like 20 minutes to open. I just need to leave it open on this computer. This computer just needs to be ran only OBS, no research. I need to set up my other computer and just do straight research on the other computer and leave this computer alone. Okay, let's get back.
Given the nature of the allegations, as well as my concern for the safety of the public, we will deal, the bond will be $2 million.
$2 million bond.
Ms. Henderson, work with your attorney, go to your hearings, and fight for your innocence, okay? Good luck, you take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
$2 million on it's $1 million
Per
on
case.
each. I'm sorry, thanks for the clarification. It's $1 million each. All right. Any questions, Madam Public Defender?
No, thank you.
Okay. Take care, Ms. Henderson.
All right, so she's leaving the court hearing now, and if you guys don't know what this is about, we had a situation. Let me change this. Give me just a second. Let me change. If you guys missed this morning's live was on Michael. We went around 5 a.m. this morning, and I told you that we were, if I get up and I see some, because I knew we were getting behind in cases, and there was a lot of stuff breaking on cases that we've been breaking. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew I did a live on Michael Monkey Vaughn. There was some new details that, oh, thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. Thanks, Betty. Oh, I already read that one. This, and you just gave, oh, thank you, love. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bless you. Bless you. And so in this particular case, we had, I don't even know how I stumbled across the story, but it was about two girls in a suitcase. And I thought in all honesty that it was an older case for some reason. I looked at it. It was like breaking, and it was like 16 hours before. And I'm like, what? And I started reading it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is new. And I just knew because they were young juveniles that were obviously deceased, and they were buried. And when we started looking at this, I think the one thing that was the most notable to all of us is the fact that they were buried in a very open area, a very open and public area. This is what got my attention to this case, folks. And we'll replay that. We'll replay that for all of you guys here in just a minute. For all those that are coming in and don't realize that this lady had an arraignment. And I don't know why in the world I can't remember this lady's blessed name. Aliyah, what was it? Aliyah what? What is Aliyah's name? I need to get my forms. I haven't even done my forms on this. This case has moved so quickly. I haven't even done my paperwork on it. So, Suitcase Girls. Unfortunately, that's how it's starting to trend. Unfortunately, that's how I saw. When I tried to do, I knew it was going to start trending that way. Her name's Aliyah, but I can't remember what her last name is. Aliyah Henderson. And I don't know why I keep forgetting that, because, you know, Sebastian Rogers is in Hendersonville, so we should be able to remember her name. Now, I did remember her daughter's name, Amor and Mila, and they are such, you know, they're so sweet. So it's Amor Wilson and Mila Chatman, not Chapman, because you guys know Dog the Bounty Hunter is a Chapman. It's a chat with a T, chat, like Chat GPT, but Chatman. And these young girls, it sounds like the father of Mila, the youngest one, the 8-year-old, the 8.5-year-old. I just read an article about this father that, actually, let me bring it up. We're on the topic, and it was in my email, but I can't pull my email up because I can't let you guys see my email. We got a lot of stuff going on in that email. Okay, let's see. Mila Chatman, dad, father, right here. All right, so is this a video? Let's see what the video does.
Charges are pending after police made an arrest in connection with this case. A 28-year-old female is in custody and charges are pending toward this ghastly case of 2 young girls buried in suitcases in Cleveland near Ginn Academy. The entire community, all of Northeast Ohio, is still in shock about this heinous crime. The incident was reported to police initially Monday night at 6 p.m. Body camera footage obtained by the Fox 8i team shows the moments officers moved in to investigate the discovery of 2 bodies partially buried in suitcases. Fast forward to last night. The 28-year-old woman was detained after detectives established probable cause to execute a search warrant at a residence along the 700 block of East 162nd Street, just hundreds of feet away from where the bodies were buried.
So that's kind of the situation. I want to make sure they don't have the father. This is too small for them to have the father on here. So the father, he speaks for the first time. Now, is the statements from this father true or not? Listen, I will be honest with you. This lady has lived in Cleveland her whole life. When you live in an area your whole life and you have a baby with somebody, you should know where their aunts, their uncles, their moms live. So I'm in all fairness, not to be rude to this father by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just going to put my opinion out here, and whether it's hurtful or not, it's hurtful. Okay, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, this man says he looked for his child for 8 years. He was an absent father from this child's life for 8 years. I'm sorry, I'm unwilling to accept that. He actually really gave it an effort, because this woman is in the same Cleveland area she's always been in. And not only that, but one thing you know about everybody, including yourself, is what? What do you guys know about yourself? You have certain behaviors, right? Right? There's certain things in this world that is a must-have for you. And that must-have is a little different from person to person to person, right? You can always guarantee that somewhere in a 2-week span, I'm going to personally visit one of my Walmarts, okay? You can almost set a clock to when I visit my Walmart. So what I'm trying to say is, if he really wanted to look for this child, he could have. Now, I could be way off base. And, according to this, it even sounds like he had attorneys and court systems and the Department of Children and Family Services all looking for this child. So I don't want to criticize too much, and I don't want to call the man a liar. And I'm not going to. But what I am going to say is that this lady has lived in the same location, the same areas, in the Cleveland area. And I have to think in 8 years you would have been able to locate her. If she's not working, she's getting money from somewhere, right? The Department of Children and Family Services. There's some place she's getting money from if she's not working and she's got 2 kids. So this, I'm logically thinking about how in the world he could have missed them for 8 years with all of this government helping them. She's obviously living in a house. She was the one arrested. There was not a secondary person in that house with her. So again, it comes back to, did he really look? And I don't want to be rude. He's losing a child, but I'm all about the facts. And unfortunately, facts are bad. And maybe he doesn't want to look like a pile of shit for just leaving his babies and forgetting about them until they were dead. Or his baby. There's only one that's his. So I'm just throwing that out there. Again, this might be ultra critical. It might be a time and place where you might be saying, Betty, I get it, but not the time, not the place. Okay, I get that. But that's just my thoughts on it. Okay, before I read this, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents out there because we deal with this, and I don't like giving anybody a free pass. Not when you leave a child in danger. And you waited until the shoe dropped before you gave a damn. I'm sorry. I might be a cruel person, and he might be very sorry that his child is gone. But did you really work this hard to find him or find her? Okay? That's kind of where I'm at. We're a truthful channel here, and that means we have to talk about the uncomfortable stuff we don't want to talk about, and sometimes that even means hurting people's feelings. So the father of one of the 2 young girls buried has spoken out in the Collinwood, Ohio area. So on Thursday, he states that he tried for years to get his daughter back from the girl's mother. Now you have to remember, from everything I'm understanding, this woman had no criminal charges. Now, should she have? In the situation that we're in, it seems like a lot of abuse went undetected. Because I can tell you, children just don't lose their life in houses that had 0 abuse in them before they lost their life. At least in my experience. Is there an outlier? You know what? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a situation where somebody just snapped, unprovoked snapped, and didn't even know why I'm sure there's something like that out there. But most of the time. So I just feel useless. I couldn't save my daughter, the man said. He spoke on condition of anonymity to protect his identity and describe how his life has been turned upside down. We're going to find out who you are. You shouldn't have done that. You should have stood on it. See, and even this man is hiding. I don't like that. Okay, folks, I'm just being honest with you. Now, he didn't hurt these kids, but he also, in my opinion, wasn't there for them, and I'm not going to have him be white knighting it. I'm sorry, because he doesn't get to white knight. He doesn't get to white knight. He shared photos and videos of his daughter, Mila, an adorable child with a bright smile, and she was absolutely adorable and bright. The man spoke after dropping flowers at a growing memorial near the site where the 2 girls were buried in separate suitcases. He wants the public to know that he believes his daughter's mother kept Mila from him for years. I'm sorry. Nobody can ever keep a child from somebody unless they go into hiding. This woman had no job and she had a place to live. She was getting money to support herself somehow. When it was something so simple, just give me her. You're feeling stressed, give me her, he said. I've been trying to get her for 6 years. You've been ducking me. You've told me I was too family oriented. That's why you ain't given my daughter. I've been tried, then talked to CPS numerous occasions. The 28-year-old woman police have now identified as Aliyah Henderson was arrested Thursday. Cleveland police said she carried She is charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder. Police confirm to WJW she's the girl's mother. Now, Thursday evening, the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office identified the girls as 10-year-old Amor Wilson and 8-year-old Mila Chatman. So they were 2 years apart, folks. The cause of death in both listed is pending. So we still don't know what the manner of death is. We don't know if it's blunt force, shot, stabbed, strangulation. Those things have not been identified yet. He said both victims' father made effort to gain custody. We both was in a position where we couldn't get her because the mother always left, he said. Left where? She's a lifelong resident of Cleveland. Now he waited for more details from the police while grieving the loss of Mila. I don't know how long she's been gone, how long she's been dead. I don't know how she's been missing, but it could have been prevented. And I do believe that. I believe they tried. This whole idea that 6 years went by and he couldn't find her, that's the part I don't believe. I think he just gave up after a while, is more in line with what I'm saying. I'm not saying this dude is a bad guy. I like honesty, okay? And when you come to a public like us, which overanalyze things, I just want to make sure that we have true, accurate information. And based upon my understanding, now again, I could be wrong, but based on my understanding of the family court system in just about every jurisdiction, and then just learning that this lady has not been out of this community. She's always lived in this community. Yeah, it makes it just a tad bit more difficult for me to believe that giving up, fighting in court and maybe not having enough money to keep dragging people, maybe that was more in line with it. And I don't want to, beat a father over the head that didn't have the money and didn't know how to go about it. Some people don't know what to do in a situation like this. And you would think, go get an attorney, right? Normally we would say go get an attorney, but a lot of people, they fear attorneys because they think cha-ching, cha-ching. They already know that they can't even afford $250, let alone, knowing that that's most likely an hourly rate for an attorney. And they give up long before they even investigate or check it out. Another reason why we need grandparent rights. Yeah, and they don't give grandparent rights. You have to fight for them. Audio is too low to hear. Let me see what we got going on here. I might have it down. I tried to turn it down just a little bit, but it might be down on the back side of the system. Let's see where we are with sound. I thought I checked it, but I might not have. No, I should be up. You might need to turn your volume up, but I should be up. I'm only down like not even a full decibel on my audio controls, so you might have to turn your volume up, hun. I think the mother, yeah, that's kind of more in line with where, because you could see, in the photos from her from years ago when the kids were still young, she looked very healthy and very happy. The woman that was before us today at this meeting looked so, I don't even know to describe it. It just, like she's there, but she's just existing. She's not there. We saw light, bright eyes holding her babies, laughing with them, all of that good stuff. In those earlier photos, she looked happy. She looked happy to be with her children. And then to see this woman before us that looks so disgusting and sloppy and dead in her eyes. I mean, it's always the eyes that say something for me. It's always the eyes. Even that lady that didn't know what she was doing allegedly and lost her shit and ended up hurting her kids, and she was kind of wheeled into the court, and her eyes were, she had no soul. Her soul was missing. Her soul was missing. And it's like this lady here, her soul is missing. I can't imagine that community to have something like that happen literally right under your nose. I mean, that's got to be super, super hard. So, if you guys didn't see it, I'll back up just a little bit. If you're here for the first time, she had an arraignment. The lady has. We'll get it right here. So we'll go through it one more time for all the people that are just coming in. If you're coming in and you're wanting to hear the breaking news, this is the breaking news. This is the arraignment of mom, Aliyah Henderson. She's the one that put her two young children, her juvenile children, in suitcases after she committed the crime of murder against them. And then she tried to cover up her crime. And now we had two girls that were not reported missing. We knew that it had to be a mom. We already went through it. We honestly thought it might have been a situation where it was a mom's boyfriend, because we see a lot of moms' boyfriends hurting their children, and mom's not doing anything about it. Let me tell you something. Stepfathers and stepmothers. Keep your grubby hands off the kids. You are not their parent. You are not their parent. And if you are fine with strangers putting their hands on you or putting your hands on somebody else, then come on down to Florida. We've got great laws here called mutual combat. Come on down. Come on down. We got some boxing gloves. Come on down to the Bullhorn Betty rink, and we'll see how well you do. You know, because I'm not a little kid. But I'll definitely get into a boxing ring with you. As long as you agree to it, of course. I would not ever want to put my hands on somebody that doesn't agree to put their hands on, unless they put their hands on me first. That's a bad mistake. That's a bad mistake. So we got $1 million each, which is really weird because I heard that she had a homicide charge and a child abuse charge. I feel like there was two charges, but we have two deceased individuals. So he did a $1 million each charge, which is upsetting to me because there should be 4 charges, right? There shouldn't be 2 charges. There should be 2 homicide charges. We got 2 dead girls, right? And there should be 2 abuse charges. So, thank you, Woman Warrior. It's nice to see you. So, where are those charging? Hey, Megan Els, I hope you're doing well. Shadow, it's nice to see you. So, where are those? We only got a $1 million for one charge and $1 million for another charge. Where are the 2 homicide charges? She's only charged with 1 homicide so far, folks, from my understanding. Otherwise, there should have been 4 charges and broke down that bail a little more. So was children, youth. You're talking about was the Department of Children. According to the father of Mila Chatman, he had been working with the Department of Children and Family Services for years, which we already knew that the Department of Children and Family Services would be involved in this case somewhere. I'm telling you, I do not have a crystal ball except on that fact whenever it comes to our children. Every single case I have covered with a child death, the Department of Children and Family Services were already involved. That's why I'm so angry. That's why when you come here, some days I am just screaming in my mic, because I already speak loud anyways because of my hearing. But no, it wasn't 1 million per child. They said per each charge, 1 million each charge. And they set the bond for 2 million. We're going to get to it. You'll hear it at the very, very end. Let's listen. It's for all the people that are coming in. Come on in. We're going to watch the arraignment. It's just a few moments.
Johnson is presiding. There'll be no talking. Court is now in session. You may be seated.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Judge.
I'm going to ask if the attorneys will put their name on the record, please.
Hello.
Christine Travellini from the County Prosecutor's Office, 0067957. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Assistant Public Defender Tina Tricarci. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, we ready for it.
Okay.
The very first case judge on the docket is Aliyah Henderson. She has 2 counts of aggravated
There she
murder.
is. There's the mother. No emotion. Stone-faced woman. No emotion. no color to her face, dead in the eyes. There she is. There is the monster. She went from a loving mom to this. To this.
Good morning, Ms. Henderson. All right, so we're going to first hear from, regarding your bond, we're going to first hear from the prosecutor from the state, and regarding charges against you, charges that you are presumed innocent.
Look how tiny she is. I mean, you've got to look at this stuff, guys. 2 counts of aggravated murder. Is that what we just heard? Hold on, let's listen to it again.
All right, so we're going to first hear from, regarding your bond, we're going to first hear from the prosecutor from the state, and regarding charges against you, charges that you are presumed innocent, on charges that allow for you to have an attorney without cost.
I haven't heard the
And
charges
after we
yet.
hear from the prosecutor, we'll hear from your attorney, okay?
Let's listen.
Madam Prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is an allegation of murder in 2 separate charges.
She didn't say, she said 2 separate charges. She said this is a case of murder and there are 2 separate charges. So I don't think those 2 separate charges, because we heard when she was charged with a murder and an abuse originally. So I'll have to look at that. Let's listen.
It's
Let's keep
alleged
listening.
in this matter that the defendant did cause the death of her 2 daughters, 8 and 10 years old. The badly decomposed body.
Let me just ask this. I want to make sure, because when she was originally charged, let's see. What's her name? Aliyah. How do you spell her damn name, anyways? Aliyah. I know it's Henderson, but where's Aliyah? Just says the girl's mother. Crap. Leah, there it is. I knew it. Okay, so it's Allie, and then yeah. Okay. I just need to remember how to spell, because it's different. So let's do this. The official charges. Official charges. I just want to make sure, because I could have sworn it was an abuse charge. There was an abuse charge. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Okay, you're right. 2 counts of aggravated murder. Okay, she's also facing charges. There it is. So I must have misunderstood that. So there we go. We got clarification on that. So it sounds like she's also facing charges of child endangerment, and maybe she hasn't been charged with that. So this is the 2 counts of aggravated murder. Thank you for clarifying. I just wanted to make sure I understand, because if I don't understand this stuff, people jump all over my stuff. So I wanted to make sure we had a clear understanding of that. So for my audience here, we have 2 counts of aggravated murder, $1 million bond each. $1 million bond each for a $2 million bond. But here we go. Let's go back to this. I wanted to make sure we had that heard.
It's alleged in this matter that the defendant did cause the death of her 2 daughters, 8 and 10 years old. The badly decomposed bodies of the 2 little girls were found in shallow graves in Cleveland in suitcases. Your Honor, the defendant is 28 years old. She scores a 1 and a 1 on the PSA, has no record noted on the PSA. Your Honor, based on the nature of the allegations and the charges in this case, I would ask for nothing less than a $2 million bond. I would implore the court to consider setting a $2 million bond, cash surety at this point, for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Public Defender.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Henderson is waiving the preliminary hearing on both cases, and I ask for the most reasonable bond you can give her.
So we went over this for those that are just coming in. The waiver of the preliminary hearing is a strategic step. 1, not to put a lot of witnesses on the record. And 2, to kind of prevent the discovery of certain information of the defendant. So there is strategy here as to why she's waiving the preliminary hearings. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they have the ability to the prosecution most likely already meets the probable cause, so there's no need to try to defend at this point and show your hand. In my opinion, this will be a good strategy for them to try to keep some of that information out. And not only that, they do not want to set people's testimony in stone just yet. So there's a lot of reasons why they went ahead and waived the preliminary hearing. They're going to go ahead and bind this over, which basically means that it will go to trial.
Tell me a little more about her that you know.
Judge, she's been in jail 3 days, and as you've seen the public safety assessment, she's looking for a job and she has a place to live, and all of her life has been in this area.
All of her life has
Thank
been
you.
in this area.
Have you seen her PSA?
I have, I just said, yeah.
Let's go with it. So, no history of violence. History, 1-1, no history of violence, no convictions, no charges. Given the nature of the allegations, as well as my concern for the safety of the public, we will deal, the bond will be $2 million. Ms. Henderson, work with your attorney, go to your hearings, and fight for your innocence, okay? Good luck, you take care.
Thank you, Your Honor.
$2 million on, it's $1 million
Per
on
case.
each. I'm sorry, thanks
There
for
you
the
go.
clarification. It's $1 million each.
So not 4 million,
All right.
2 million total. So there you go. That was pretty much the end of this. Betty, do you know how they even came across the suitcases? I didn't catch that part. Yes. We went over that yesterday. So we had the body cam. You might want to go back and watch the body cam video that we did last night. But it had the, so there was a guy that lives in those houses, like one of the houses that kind of front that park, that open space where the shallow grave was found. And it appears that he walks his dog in that area quite some time. You know, he's probably been there for years. He probably takes his dog in that, because it's a park directly across the street from his house. I mean, if you had a dog, that would be your ideal place where you can go over there and play fetch and whatever. You know, it's a nice little area that the dog could technically, theoretically run around without a leash, you know, because it's that open. And he said that he noticed that his dog was going to a mound of dirt about a week ago. A week before he reported it. Now, this has been going on now. I think March 2nd was when the suitcase was found, early in the morning. So anyways, or maybe it was late in the afternoon. Maybe it was about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. I think he was taking the dog out after work. I think that's what it was. So excuse me for my misspeaking. And he went over there, and when his dog got on the mound before, he noticed that it looked like a suitcase kind of sticking out of the ground. And so this particular time, his dog went right back over there. And, you know, again, nobody knows kids are missing in this community because nobody reported any children missing. So nobody was on alert that anybody, like, this would be ultimately somebody in this bag. You know, what could he have thought was in that bag? Maybe substances, maybe cash, you know, maybe a family pet. I doubt that the first thing that came to his mind was that there was going to be an adolescent juvenile in that bag. Okay. So he pulls it kind of out of the dirt because it was already partially exposed. And this dog is just, you know, on top of it. He said, stays on top of it more than any other thing. It just was his dog did this. And a week later, after his dog kept doing this, he decides to pull it out to find out what the hell's in this bag that his dog's so attracted to. And when he pulled it out of the ground and he unzipped it, he saw what he thought was a head. And he stopped, and he said when he pulled it out, you know, all kinds of smells came out with it. And then when he saw that, he stopped what he was doing. He ran home and he called the police. His house was right there. You could turn from his house right there and see I mean, it was a little ways away because it was in that open field all the way to the back. But even from his house, you could see the suitcase standing up from his house, just a little speck there, but you could see it. So he could see directly from his house over here. It was completely open. It's not obscured by anything. And that's what made us believe that this person had to be from that direct community, because there was no way anybody could ever feel comfortable digging up a hole right there unless they knew the behaviors of everybody around. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. And so this person really gambled. And actually, that gamble almost paid off. If it wasn't for this guy, how long would they have stayed there? If she was able to get this suitcase under the ground better, how long would she have been be able to pull this off? These might be 2 children that we didn't even know were missing for years. This is how it's done. This is scary. And maybe we need to start going back and looking at some of these other cases, because I'm telling you, if this woman has that much balls to dig up in plain sight and bury suitcases literally out in the middle of everybody, where somebody could have just happened to look out their window and see her out there with a light digging a hole and putting something in it. I mean, it was just that open. This field is an open field that has a whole bunch of houses on the front side of that field that looks right directly to where these suitcases were uncovered. The brazenness of this person. So it made me identify that this person most likely did not have a car. Did not have a car. And then we found out that the mom lived directly across the street. And I did find out, I went back to the map, that blue house we saw on the map, the 701. Let's go up here to... We'll get it pulled up here in just a second. But that blue house that we originally seen is gone. It was tore down. That's how everybody wrote it, but I guess it doesn't do that. 167th, 62nd Street East. There it is. I think that's good right there. All right, so here's the field. You see all these houses? Look at all these houses that are bordering this. This is the field, and this is where the children were, out there in that open field. They weren't even buried inside the tree line. They were buried on the outside of the tree line. And by the way, this is their mother's house. So we're going to go down here. This blue house that you see is no longer there. All these shrubberies that are blocking the view are no longer there. This is completely clean. Even these trees here are gone. This is completely cleaned out. And so we thought she lived in this blue house. It's not. This blue house has been torn down. Okay? So this blue house is not the house she was living in. It's this, we got to go down just a little bit more. It's this house right here. This is the 2-story White House right here. This was in a more dilapidated condition, but this blue house is no longer existent. So this is 701 right here, and she was in apartment 2 of 701, and I have to think this is apartment 1 and this is apartment 2. Now, why is this so important? Because we have body camera.
Good afternoon. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News.
can usually... We're going to go over that guy's statements in just a second. So here it is. Let me find out where it is in here. There it is. The money shot.
I got you.
Oh, that's the wrong direction. He turns. Is that it? It's still the damn school. He turns. And you see the house. I think it's right here.
20 feet. There is an area of dirt that is also disturbed, not exactly.
Quit twisting on me. So he's not. I'm going to have to write this down. We'll listen to the statement. There it is, right there. There it is. Okay, let's start here. There it is. There's the house, right there. And she was up on the top floor, right here, apartment 2. And here's the suitcase. Here's the suitcase. Is that the suitcase? Yeah, that's the suitcase, right there. There's the suitcase. There's mommy's house, right there. Boom, 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 boom. And see how cleaned up it is? There's none of that shrubbery that we see in this Google map. There's none of all this. This is all cleaned up. All of this is cleaned up. All you see is this 2-story house right here. Right there. So you're talking about however distance that is. She could keep an eye on that area from her window. That right there, my friends, are freaking creepy. Now, if you're coming back here and you want to know what happened, what the details of this case are, here it is. This right here is the witness. This is the one. This is for you, Patty. You were wanting to know how this case, how the suitcases were found. This is it. This is how the suitcases were found. So this is for you.
Some of the questions many of you have.
Understood. If you go, you can see the case from back here. It's all the way straight to the back.
Close to that sign?
Yeah, see the little black.
Straight ahead in front of me? Okay.
Straight,
it's a suitcase?
It's a suitcase. I've been walking past it for about a week now because I take my dog. I stay right here.
See?
I take my dog. I usually walk her through there and then come around here.
All these houses on this road, do you see that's an open field? All of these houses, somebody could have just happened to be up a night and looked out their window. This lady over here that lives here has had to have lived in this area for a significant amount of time to understand her neighbor's behavior in order to feel so comfortable that she could go over, walk down this street, go to this tree line, and start digging holes where she ultimately put 2 suitcases, 2 dark-colored suitcases on wheels into the ground. This man here walks his dog. His dog paid attention to it, started noticing it about a week prior to this. This is being reported. This is being reported at, looks like 6:25 at night. Is that right? 6:25 at night on March 2nd. March 2nd at 6:25 Central Standard Time is when this was being reported as finding a body in a suitcase.
Okay.
And for the last week, she's been stuck. It was like a mound of dirt. She's been stopped and sniffing like a little too long.
Okay.
And today I was like, well, I'm going to take it. I hope it's not what I'm...
Right.
And it was halfway buried. It's about this thick. It's about halfway buried. I pulled it up, unzipped it. I couldn't really see. And I opened it up and hid.
Buried under the dirt it was?
Yeah, halfway.
Okay.
You can see a little part of it sticking out.
And you said you noticed it for about a week already?
Yeah, it's been sitting over there like somebody buried it or tried to bury it.
So he's been, it sounds to me just by this, even though he didn't come out and say, just in my opinion, which you don't have to accept my opinion, but it sounds like because he lives there and because this is an open field, it sounds like he takes his dog there regularly because he noticed this a week ago. And he even speaks about a mound. That's new disturbance he's discussing there. And so I'm certain that when he pulled it up, he probably thought it wasn't going to be good. It was going to be, clothes or a gun or even a dead animal. but I don't think that he expected, what he thought it was. I even think when he says that, I think he still thought it was an animal. Many of us pull stuff up and we're like, oh, I wonder what's in here. And then we open it, it's like empty. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that was a waste of time, right? I'm sure no matter what he thought, I doubt he was thinking a child or an adolescent juvenile. I doubt that even resonated in his brain.
And like I said, I walk my dog over there and she keeps stopping and she sniff a little too long.
Right.
She sniffs stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
I'm not with it. And today I was just like, let me see.
Curiosity.
What that really is.
Okay.
Curiosity
Back
got
there,
to
All right,
I
I'll go.
pulled it up so it's kind of standing up and it stinks like hell.
Okay. You're right here.
Yeah.
What was your name, sir?
Okay, Eastern time.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
I'm gonna check it out. I'll be with
It
you.
is
Thank you.
Eastern. Thank you. So that's Eastern time zone, not Central. So it's at 6:30.
Thank you.
Around 6:30 Eastern. Thank you for that.
Sure, keep staying through, rather.
Wow. Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that. So I'm gonna let you guys play so you see where it's at, because he's going into the school driveway. It was directly across the street. And now he's got to walk up on an embankment. Let me pull this down just a little bit so I can speak a little. So it's not so. Still very loud for me. There's the bag, and then you see right there. There's the house, like right there. So you're able to see, this person was able to keep an eye on what was going on here. So I have to assume when she saw the cops there or cops showing up, she had to have known the gig was up and it was only a matter of time before she was arrested. But we knew it was going to be a mom, because I'm sorry. Some people said foster, but I just, the gut in me, the gut instinct in me said it was going to be a mama, because at least arrested. Now, I wasn't sure if the mama was responsible for the actual homicide, but the failure to report 2 young girls, I'm sorry, that's a mom. That's a mom. Moms never let their kids out of sight. In the minute that moms freak out. Think about it. Period. When moms can't find their cubs, they freak out bad. Like, they freak out bad to the point that when you walk in the house and you're just at a friend's house, they're literally screaming in your face, like, "Oh no, I'm sick, how sick to the stomach, I've been worrying about you." Right? At least that's what my mommy looked like. My mom's gonna kill me. She's like, "You got me flailing around like a lunatic. Betty, what the hell?" That's what my mom was going to say. She's going to smack me. Ooh, I'm getting a whipping. But there's been times that I've disappeared. My mom lost her shit. Like, it's like, well, aren't you at least happy to see me? I ain't dead. Don't you ever do that shit to me again. Okay, good gracious. I thought you were dead. So I mean, it's just one of those things where we kind of had this gut feeling we were going to have a mom arrested or handcuffed. Why? Because of exactly how, I know I'm putting some satire on it, and you know exactly what I'm saying is true. We might be embellishing it just a tad bit, but damn well it's true. And so when we don't have that kind of reaction from a mom, we know the mom's involved. These are telltale signs. These are why we're able to gauge, like Katie Proudfoot's behavior. We know it's not a mother's behavior. She is trying to cover her ass for something she did. Period. Why? Because moms, I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of moms act like my moms. They've come from different financial backgrounds, different nationalities, different ethnicities, different religions. So, I mean, I've seen moms act the same way no matter what mom they are. So when you don't have a mom acting that way, well, you got a problematic mom, okay? And I hated the fact that these that in this statement she had no history of violence. I totally disagree with that. She has no recognized history of abuse or violence, because a mom just doesn't go from being a loving, nurturing mom to a homicidal maniac of 2 of her children. It just doesn't work that way. It tells me that there was violence inside that home long before we got here. It's just nobody wanted to acknowledge it, and everybody wanted to mind their own business. That's what we have here. And I understand people don't like people being in their business. I remember when I was out in an area, there was this lady that came out. She took this this guy, he looked like he was about to die. I am not gonna lie. This woman was, he should never have unzipped his britches. That's all I gotta say. How do I know that? The whole damn neighborhood knew exactly what that man had done to that woman. He stepped down on her and she wasn't having it. And she comes flying out of a house with a freaking frying pan. He comes out screaming, running down the road. I thought he was going. She picks up a damn metal garbage can, takes it, beats him over the head with it. I'm sitting out there and I'm like, everybody's just going about their business. I'm like, are you guys going to call the cops? No, they do this every week. The hell? It's because people want to mind their own business. Okay, this day and age, we can't do that. Unfortunately, as much as we don't want to be in people's business, people are losing their life because we're not paying attention. And, now, back when I saw that, we were kind of over in somebody's house laughing like, what a dumbass, But in reality, that was a man that was in fear for his life, and we were in our yard laughing about it. Obviously we're older now, so I can go back and look at some of these things and have clearer eyes than I did when they were happening. And at the end of the day, what happened to that man? I don't know. What happened to that woman? I don't know. Is she in jail? Is he dead? I don't know. That happened, I think I was 19, 20 years old when I witnessed that. But I can tell you that man was bloodied. He was hurt. It wasn't good. Did the cops come out there and arrest anybody? No. No, they didn't. Nobody even bothered calling. So that's why I'm saying, there's no reported history. Obviously, there had to have been a history of violence inside that house, because we don't have a conclusion that we have without the action. You can't get from point A to point B, okay, without doing what's required to get from point A to point B. So I don't believe that this was just one act of violence toward these children that ultimately lost their life. I believe that this was multiple acts, and this was the last time she had an opportunity to flip out before they met their demise. The question is why? Did she intentionally do it, or was this something where she just snapped? And when she snapped and came to, two young children were gone. I don't know. I can't tell you that this wasn't planned. I don't know. Was this too much for her to deal with? Because she had no job. Didn't know how to maybe feed them. They were probably complaining all the time. Who knows? Did she snap, or did she literally plan out that on this day she was just going to free them? As sick as that sounds. And then we got to remember, which is problematic for me, is that she had another child. There wasn't just 2 children in that home. There were 3. 2 of them are dead. The third child appeared to be in good health, which is a positive. Didn't appear to be malnourished or abused from everything I've read. So the question is, why these 2? And if the fathers wanted the girls, why didn't she just give them to them if she didn't want them? So we have a lot of questions, but you know what? What I find out more than not is that people are very much aware of their decisions. That's what I've learned doing all this, is that most of these things are very rarely, oops. They consciously, in their mind, decide to take this action. And then they do it, knowing the consequences, knowing that they're taking life, knowing that once they do this, there's no coming back, and they still walk through it. They still choose to make the decision to go hurt someone. I can never understand that. What is infecting somebody's brain to hurt like that? How old was the third child? Ooh, great question. Nobody said. Where was the third child? In the home with the mom. In the home with the mom. They executed the search warrant, had no earthly idea she had another child, and a younger child, was in that house that they had to take into the Department of Children and Family Services. Why didn't children take the kids? Oh, you mean Child Protective Services? The Child Protective Services took the last one out of the house. Well, they had no choice. The mom was going to jail. And the mom's going to jail for the rest of her life. So, coroner said the girls were appearing in good health. She kept moving and changing her phone number. And he tried official channels because she would have him arrested for harassment, allegedly. Well, you know what? I haven't been scared of going to jail for the right reasons. For the right reasons. I'm sorry. I understand the predicament that the father was in, but phones, moving around, stuff like that, that does not prevent you from going to court, dragging her ass to court, and getting your parental rights restored. So, I'm sorry. I've dealt with too many people that have women like this that have been able to be successful, and it does take a little bit of time. But at the end of the day, they can track these people, especially the Department of Children and Family Services. If the easiest way to do it is stop paying for the child support. And if you got to go, you got to go. Go to court. She's going to drag your ass back to court if you ain't making that monthly payment in that court. You explain to the judge what the hell is going on. There's so many different ways. I don't want to be disrespectful to this father, because he probably, is feeling some type of way. This was his daughter, and I understand that. And I'm sure, just like every other father, they believe that they have time. Well, sometimes you don't. And that's going to be, and now he's got to say, well, I tried. No, you didn't. I'm not going to let you pass that around. I'm not going to let you pass that around. She has normal behaviors. You could have served her. You could have served her. You could have served her. There's so many things you could have done. I'm sorry. There's just no good excuse. I'm sorry. There's not. If you wanted to be in your child's life, you would have been in your child's life. I'm very sorry that you lost your daughter. But I will not allow you to get brownie points when I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you the way you're explaining it. I feel bad for you. Nobody should ever find out that their child is gone this way. And again, young parents make stupid mistakes, and they've got to live with the rest of their life with those mistakes. And it's awful. And I'm sorry, I would love, but I do not believe this man tried for 8 years to have a relationship with his child. And I'm not going to allow him to pass that around, because I don't believe it. I'd like to see some receipts. If he did everything that he said he did, then the Department of Family Services should have receipts. He should have, receipts to law enforcement. He should have receipts to his attorney, his public attorney, because it's his child. So you're entitled. They should have some free legal aid type of attorneys out in Ohio for family law stuff for people that don't have money. But even if you didn't have that, you could be going to court and filing your own paperwork. Yes, you have to learn to read. Yes, you have to learn to write, but it doesn't even need to be perfect. It just needs to be the request. So I would like to see those. I'd like to see those handwritten requests into the court files. Once we see those, you know what? I will apologize to the father, Mila's father. Once I see that's truly, but 8 years, you're going to have to try a little bit harder to convince me that you tried than this in 8 years or 6 years or whatever the case may be. So how she make money, keep changing her phone. Exactly. She had to be getting some type of government assistance. The Department of Children and Family Services would have been able to find that out in a quickness. The courts would have been able to find that out in the quickness. So, I'm sorry. I want the truth out there. I'm sorry the father is learning about his daughter. My heart bleeds for the father, but I'm not going to allow him to be, to not be truthful. The girls deserve the truth out there. And we're not going to let Dad white knight it, because I believe Dad should have been more involved than he was. And had he actually did what he's saying he did, these kids should, at least his kids, should have been okay. I just don't believe it. People move around all the time. This is not the first time courts deal with, parents and multiple daddies and stuff like that. I'm sorry, it's not. This is not a unique situation to this family. But we don't have situations like this. Either fathers are there or they're not. Okay? My father never needed a court order to pay child support for his kids. Okay? I'm sorry. That's just how I believe. If you're a father or a mother and your significant other or even your ex that you completely hate and despise has your child, you're the father. You're financially responsible for that child. Why the hell do you need a court order telling you your financial responsibility? I just want to ask that for all the parents out there. Why the hell do you need a court telling you you're financially responsible? You should be giving that person money willingly to take care of your child, or buying and making sure your child gets all the necessities that they need. I just totally agree. I disagree with the fact that these divorce cases and all this stuff. I'm sorry, both ways. If you're a mom and the father's taking care of the kids, you have a financial responsibility to that father. It shouldn't take a court to tell you you are a mother and you have to pay your fair share for those children you gave birth to, and vice versa with the man. My daddy, again, never had to have a court order to know what his financial responsibility is. He knew how much it cost to take care of kids. He knew he handed my mom. He came by whether my mom and him hated each other or not, and he made sure my mom had money to buy us groceries, to buy us food, to buy us clothes, to buy us shoes. My dad would never allow a judge to order him to pay child support, to pay his responsibility for his children. Now, we've had a lot of family problems in our relationship. We've had a lot of family problems in my whole upbringing and stuff like that. But the one thing we didn't have problems with was knowing who my mommy and daddy were and what their responsibilities were to me. Not one time did my mommy and daddy go to court for child support. Not one time. And that's the way it should be across this country. If you're a father or you're a mother, you know damn well it takes money to raise children. You are not immune from your financial responsibility because you pass the buck. Step up to the plate. Enough is enough. Our children need their families. You guys are corrupting our next generation. These are our next generation leaders. We need to be giving them all the tools in their toolbox to thrive in this really messed up world. So this is a sad case. We're going to monitor this case. We're going to follow this case. I'm glad to see that these girls are getting justice. I'm glad they're getting swift justice. We have so many cases out there where the writing is on the wall, but you got corrupted sheriffs, or you got broke counties that can't take the case to trial and don't have the money to hire the necessary people. So they wait until they get money. They wait 20, 30 years because, homicide, there's no statute of limitations. So they've got nothing against the clock, and they don't really care to move quicker because they're broke. They're broke, or they don't want to spend the money. Hawkins County should have sued Candace Bly and Don Wells for child abuse. They have been culpable in hiding the fact that Don Wells and Candace Bly abused children. They've hidden that from the world. They've covered it up. Their own government. They They've taken the children out of the house so that at least they can't abuse them anymore. But I'm sorry, I don't think that's good enough. You cannot remove children from a home. You cannot remove children from a home without charging the parents. I find that to be kidnapping. Because if you have no probable cause to remove those children, well, we have probable cause, we could show abuse. Well, that sounds like a freaking crime. Not an administrative issue. A freaking crime. And I don't know about you in Tennessee, but where I come from, when you break the law, you get charged with a crime. We don't cover it up. We don't just take those children. We get those children justice. If they were abused, we take their parents to court and we make sure their parents are held accountable for the abuse and the atrocities that they perpetrated upon those children. They never sought justice for Summer Wells' brothers. They had to witness God knows what in that house. The unthinkable before their daughter or their sister disappeared for forever. And in Hawkins County, one of the most corrupt counties, Sumner being the absolute most corrupt county, swept it under the rug and never charged them. These are garbage places that don't know anything about law enforcement. If you're in Hawkins County, you need to fire your sheriff and get a better DA. If you are unwilling to do that, I tap out. It's why I don't cover Summer Wells' case anymore. Because of the people out there in Hawkins County not willing to fight with me. You want to keep putting the same problems in office that are keeping this child's case from being solved? Fine. But don't keep asking everybody to come and help when you're not willing to help yourself. And that goes for Sumner County too. That goes for Sumner County too. Something's got to be done. If you want these kids' cases solved, Tennessee residents, fire the a-holes standing in the way. Please. Please. Ronnie Lawson should have been fired years ago. Why the hell is he still in charge there? How stupid does a community need to be? That's some ignorant, hunky-bunk, backwoods bullshit. If you want change, you've got to get a backbone. And I don't mean to be rude to you guys in Hawkins County, but damn. This is pretty stupid. Somebody needs to be getting out there door knocking and saying enough's enough. Do you want this child's case solved or not? You got to start moving these horrible sheriffs out of office. They're corrupted. They're corrupted. They're corrupted. Ronnie Lawson is a corrupt sheriff. He's a criminal. The hell is wrong with you? Anyways, let me get off my soapbox. Because people are like, I can't believe she was mean to me. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to shake you and wake you up. And sometimes tough love's the only thing I can give you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll be back. I'm sorry we had to change course today, but this was more important in my opinion. I wanted to hear about this. We'll run Nancy. We got some stuff for Nancy Guthrie. So you guys are going to want to come around, stick around. We got some stuff on Nancy Guthrie. I wish we had some more information on Sebastian Rogers, but we do not. It's the same old, same old. We have a corrupt county that's sitting on their ass doing absolutely nothing. We have no searches, no press conferences, no press releases. They're just waiting for something to break. They're waiting for the public to step up to the plate and find a boy that they're unwilling to find. But until that day comes, they're just going to act like this case doesn't exist and keep pushing it out of the limelight of anybody else so they don't have to be held accountable. There are pieces of shit out there in Sumner County. The whole entire government is a joke. The judges are a joke. You've got corruption on top of corruption in Sumner County. And so if you guys are unwilling to do anything about it, you deserve to be taxed out the ass. And trust me, I'm going to be working to take every bit of federal funding away from you guys so you're taxed out of the ass. I'm doing this because I apply pressure everywhere I can, even to the voter base. Okay? Even to the blessed voter base. We're going to keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing until everybody gets so sick and tired of it. And then maybe, just maybe, you guys will realize your politicians are not getting you anywhere. You need better politicians if you want federal funds. Okay? because I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep going further up the food chain. We're going to keep taking money out of this county every opportunity we get. 10,000 here, 20,000 there, 100,000 there, $500,000 here. We're going to keep trying to block on a federal level any type of federal funds that are coming in. We're going to keep doing this over and over and over again. And we're going to start forcing taxes to be raised in that area. And then we're going to start giving you guys sticker shock. And when they have to start raising your taxes in Texas or Tennessee, you guys are going to understand what I'm talking about. We're sick and tired of funding the bullshit. So if we've got to start taking funds away from the whole entire community to get the whole entire community to fire these pieces of shit, well, by God, that's what we're going to do. Okay? That's what we need to do. So I'm just saying, I don't want to start working on those initiatives that take a lot of time. They take a lot of people. We were able to pull it off once, and that was just by pure luck, to be honest with you. And that was just because when the Sebastian's army was kicking, it was in its glory days. You had thousands of people making waves all through the state of Tennessee. Thousands, tens of thousands of people. You know? So anyways, guys, that's kind of where we're at with Tennessee. It's where we are at with Sumner County. And, this is just another case where here in Cleveland where a mom hurts her kids and hides the bodies. And I believe that's what happened in Sebastian Rogers' case. Are we sure there's no disturbed ground nearby? What about Chris's 24-hour trip? That was awfully convenient, right at a very, very interesting time of the case while they were still searching nonetheless. It just makes me wonder why Chris needed to leave to go get a camper during the middle of the search area and nobody bothered following him. I wonder why nobody bothered following him. It's because they didn't believe he could hurt his stepson or go and help his wife disappear the stepson, that they got away with hiding him for so long, and now he just needed to make sure he was gone for forever, and you guys just let him walk off and didn't even trail him? I find that disgusting. I find that despicable. I find that terrible policing. Terrible. Just terrible. Like people can sit there and dog on Betty all the time about being lame and not knowing, but at least I know that, right? I may not be a sheriff, may not have any experience in law enforcement, but I know not to do that. I know to shut down a house when a child's missing and turn it into a crime scene. I may be dumb. I may be just a dumb YouTuber, but I know how to do that. Just something to think about. So we'll be talking about, Nancy Guthrie and Sebastian almost together, because I do believe they have a lot of coincidences, a lot of similarities and coincidences, and a lot of dissimilarities, but I think the one thing is the hunky bunk investigations that they've gotten. And the fact that they've had every opportunity to turn it over to the most elite outfit of our country to help get it solved for the benefit of the case and the victim. And both of them turned that down. And it makes you wonder why. Why? Why would you turn a case down from being able to be solved? That's the most important. Guys, you're already here. If you're on the replay crew, would you guys do me a huge favor? Huge favor. And it's not just to ask you to like and hype this video, but it's also to go over and sub up and get notified for our 4:30 show today. We kicked our 4:30 show from this time to this evening because we had breaking news coming on in the Suitcase girl case, and the mom was going for an arraignment. I knew the arraignment was today. I forgot to calendar it. And so I just happened to catch it when I was doing some afternoon research for my show, and I'm like, the arraignment? Oh my gosh, how did I forget the arraignment? So I'm working desperately trying to get everything set up so we could go over the arraignment. And so just to let you know, she does have a $2 million bond, but we were going to have a healthy discussion on Nancy Guthrie, sorry, NG is NG, right? So I keep screwing that up, and I apologize. But it's going to be and this is a great conversation. This is going to be a great talking piece too. It's about whether we think the assailant came back to the scene of the crime. And I think we need to really hone in on that, because did he? And I'm also hearing that there's a Chichilian burglary ring around this area. You know, this is another wild rumor I'm hearing. But either way, it's quite interesting to process. So I'm going to be looking at that angle. But I think what we're going to talk about mostly is just whether we feel that the assailant came back. I'm going to go ahead and open this up for phone calls too. So it's been a little over a week since we had our phones open. We used to be a very phone or panel type of channel, and when we started getting hit with all the hate channels, we shut that aspect down because it was just becoming too distracting. But now that we've been through the process, now that we don't take any bullshit from anybody, we're going to be opening those things back up. And again, you know, we protect this channel, so I hope that all the hate and all the trolls just stay the hell away from this channel, or come over here and participate positively. You know, you don't have to agree, but you can't be disrespectful. That's the only requirement here, you know. If we can all be respectful and voice our opinions, like even Mike comes in here and throws some left wing, like left, I don't even know what I'm saying, just out of the blue stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. In the chat, that kind of goes, oh, what the hell are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Did you forget what freaking chat you're in today? You know, so we do understand even when people, you know, get a little off. But this is not everybody can come here and just treat everybody and speak however the hell they want to speak. Okay, it is a privilege to be in this chat. We work very hard for these victims and families and searches and stuff like that. We're not going to have anybody in our chat. If we're talking politics and you want to come over here and bash and stuff like that, that's totally different. But when it comes to victims of crime, I just will not put up with it. I'm sorry, I just won't. This is not that kind of channel. Okay, so you got to be respectful to the people in the chat. You've got to be respectful to me, the host, and you got to be respectful to any guests that I bring up on the panel. And as long as we can all do that, we can have a really good conversation. We don't have to parrot each other. Okay. But again, we can't be rude to each other. So if everybody plays by the rules, we can always have such a great show. So God bless you. We'll be back around 4:30 this afternoon. I cannot believe I've already done 2 shows today before 11 o'clock. I'm like, you know, it feels good though. I think I like, because you know, I'm here all the time researching. Why I wouldn't be live more is crazy. You know, I even think about, I remember back when we first started, I used to come here and just open up the live just so we could chat while I did the research, because everybody in the chat was doing research with me, and we're all putting stuff in the chat or sending me stuff through Messenger or messages, you know, to talk about and stuff like that. And we were really getting down and researching and going through a whole bunch of channels and a whole bunch of information that we would just come up just to talk about cases. We might go back to something like that here in the near future, you know. So anyways, I'll see you guys soon. It is right now about 11 o'clock. Our next show on this channel is about 4. I'm probably going to do another live on one of the other channels. I'm not sure which yet. So be on the lookout for any posts from this channel, from the main channel, because I'll let you guys know from the main channel where we're going to go if I do another live between now and 4. I mean, I've got to have some time throughout the day to do some research. Otherwise, we're going to be behind tomorrow. So I got to find those little coves of time to do some research that doesn't go in with any of the topics of conversation that we do. It was really interesting when we were going through Summer Wells' case and all the stuff we were able to do with that case. That was actually very interesting how we handled that on as far as show panels and stuff like that. I'm actually trying to figure out how to bring the panels back where we actually come up, and you'll have the choice to turn your camera on or keep it off. But there is ways for us to bring people up on the panel to have discussions, and so we'll figure all that out here in the near future. So I've just got to reconfigure a few things. I'm going to try, I think, through, if I can figure out how to incorporate Rumble, the Rumble Studio on OBS, and I know there's a way, and I think it's through the key, the stream key. But if I can do that, we can actually multi-stream. That means if I can do it through, if I can get it that way, that means we can start having lives, the same lives on Facebook, X, Instagram, just several different places simultaneously. So we're gonna get further there. And of course, my goals of having the new studio set up or having the website set up, I have failed miserably at both. So we know what's going on with the camera, and so I'm going to start working on, which is going to have to carve out some time for that too. I'm going to have to start working on the website. So we've got the website, and that's going to be done. So I'm not sure. I've got to figure out what my vision of this I had a vision of the website when I first bought it 5 years ago. I haven't done anything. I've been paying god awful fees for holding this website forever and ever. Amen. But it's bullhornbetty.com. Okay. And at the time, there were so many people trying to attack my name and trying to set up different sites to steal my name. And you have no idea what it took to keep my name and keep my original channel. It was a fight of my life. I never want to go through that again. I will never go through that again. But it was quite a fight. So I had to buy that .com. Otherwise somebody was going to take it and start running, god awful, God knows what on it. So, that's why I ended up purchasing it before I could see where people were going. And I thought, might as well get in front of this. And that's what I did. And I'm glad I did, because shortly after I purchased it, people were trying to get a Bullhorn Betty website just to dog me. So we got the original bullhornbetty.com, and we're going to keep bullhornbetty.com. So anyways, guys, I just got to build the channel or build the site. And I think we're going to have a place where you guys can put tips in and new cases. And we're going to have like everything's like all over the place, like Substack and Facebook and stuff like that. And we talk about different types of content, and we talk about cooking and everything else. All of that stuff is going to kind of be incorporated into this website. And so I really think you guys are going to like it. We'll see how it's going to work out, but it's something that I want to update, not like every single week, but like, refresh it every single month, and put new stuff in it, periodically. So we'll see how it all works out. I haven't visualized it yet. I mean, I've got an idea of how the flow of it I want it to be, but I don't think I've visualized, what our growth is going to be. And I need to really do that before I start building the site, because I don't want to have to build a site and then rebuild the site. So anyways, guys, I love you. God bless you. If only there were more Bettys in the world. That's what I'm trying to turn you guys into. Why do you think I work so hard to inspire you guys and to show you everything I do? We are making more Bettys in this world. Believe me, we are. There's people, Southern Grammy, she got involved because of this channel. We've got Key she's getting involved because of this channel. We've got a lot of people around, before Jen left us, she started getting more involved in her community and other outreaches and stuff like that. So, we are creating more Bettys in this world. That's the whole purpose of this. And so, and you guys are even getting involved. Even you, Women Warrior, what did you do? You were just a content, or you were just a person that came and watched all this. Look at you now. You got your own channel. You've been inspired. You're turning into a Betty. So we do have more Bettys in this world. It's just one show at a time, we are rough around the edges a little bit, but I'm telling you, when you get through that tough exterior, we're mostly ooey gooey inside. All right. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it because we are battle ready, but we do have an ooey gooey side to us. Okay. And so we just don't like our ooey gooey sticking all out there. So we put this shell to protect the ooey gooey. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, guys, rock it out. I could listen to BHB all day. We love you. We love you. We hope you're feeling better, Melanie. We hope you're feeling better. You guys take care. We'll see you later this afternoon. Bless y'all. Until next time.